Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
This is Kugan Cassius for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by, to my left, John Hedges, and somewhere down the bottom there from SJM Boxing, Sam Jones.
Yeah.
Sam, have you got a roll neck on?
No, mate, it's a t-shirt. It looks like one though, doesn't it? But it's a t-shirt.
It does, absolutely. John, I'll start with you. Obviously, huge news today that you've signed a multi-fight agreement with Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn. So, huge move for yourself.
Yeah, it's been massive. It's unbelievable, to be honest, Kogan. I've got the best managing team behind me, being SJM, obviously Sam and Adam, and now that's just been it fulfilled. Now I've got the best promotion, and it's ready to be put in place.
Sam, obviously you've helped secure this deal for John and throwing him right in the deep end with Matchroom and Sky Sports and DAZN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is the right. Well, it is. We know it's the right platform, and to be honest, it was John's number one choice. So that's where we went, and we believe that with Eddie's help and the platform of DAZN and Sky Sports, there's no. I mean, as I say, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but we believe he's going to be a superstar of this sport. So that's he needs the biggest platform to be on.
So, your number one choice, but I will ask you, why Eddie Hearn, why Matchroom, why was that the right fit for you, John, to turn pro with?
Do you know what? Both promotions are brilliant, but Eddie to me has always stood out. I just think he's the modern man. He's the younger look. He's an Essex boy like myself. Got a lot to relate to each other. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. And it's always been. I think when you watch your boxing, you look straight to it. And it's just Eddie Hearn, isn't it? He just keeps your eye on him. And from the start, I've always said it. From a baby, I said Eddie Hearn's going to be the one I want to be with. And yeah, that's said to Sam. I said that's my dream. That's who I want to be with, and he's put it into place.
So you picked Eddie Hearn because you're both from Essex.
So he says shut up. I said shut up. There you
go. Sam, I know you've obviously been banging the drum about John for quite some time now, obviously since you announced that he was turned professional back in April. But what kind of talent is John? What can the fans expect to see?
Joe, he is exciting as well. He's exciting, and he's 6'5", a super middleweight, southpaw. I mean, all those ingredients. It just equates to a nightmare, doesn't it? That's what he's going to be. He's going to be a nightmare for everyone. He's really exciting. But the thing is about in the ring, he's a different person to he is out the ring. He likes to. I know he won't say it, but he likes the odd showboat. He's a real showman. But out the ring, he's a proper gentleman. Like, he lives up to his name, Gentleman John. That's why we like him so much. He came to the office and we really liked him, and we gelled quite well. We gelled perfectly together.
6'5", southpaw, super middleweight. Yeah, you sound like a nightmare opponent. Fighters,
yeah, he's
gonna be, and combine a bit of flashiness in there as well. I think people are going to take to you. But just for people that don't know, obviously you've won multiple titles, national as well. Talk to us a little bit about your amateur career, John.
Yeah. So I finished up on 44 fights, 40 wins, and the last national, that was my last fight. Just won the national youth title at under 75 kg. Then got picked for the Europeans. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, it all got set back, didn't it? And so I was meant to be flying out to Montenegro in October, but then that obviously got took straight off. So then my mind's were elsewhere. I was always going to do the Europeans. I believed I would have won gold out there and then turned over on that. But the division's still the same. I was meant to do a Tri-Nations as well, Coog, and I got picked for the Tri-Nations, obviously, after championships. But that didn't go ahead. But, what I've won is 2 youth ABAs, junior ABAs, and a GB gold medal. That's in England. So that's a Tri-Nation, number 1 Great Britain. And then I boxed internationally and had 7 international titles.
You turned pro a couple of months ago, and I suppose in an ideal world, it wasn't kind of the right situation with what was going on or what is currently still going on in the world, because you knew you'd have to wait. If you'd turned professional in April in any normal situation, you probably you could have had a couple of fights by now. Sam, is that fair?
Yeah.
I think yeah, it is. But when we sat down and spoke to him, I made it clear to John, I want John to get as much experience as possible, get as much sparring as possible. I want him to. I wanted it to take him to America. I know that's kind of delayed now, just to get him experience in other gyms. And John sells a lot of tickets, Coogan, a lot of tickets. And I think it'd be a bit of a shame to make his debut behind closed doors. But if that's if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. But in an ideal situation, we'd love to get John make his debut on a big show and get his big crowd, his big army behind him.
Has there been any talks about John featuring on any of the Matchroom Fight Camp shows?
No, we've not had any discussions on his debut yet. Because I mean, we when we sat down with John and his dad, we had the idea in our head. We wanted to make his debut later on in the year anyway. So the later we wait, kind of thing, is the better. Is better for us, because we want the best possible chance of boxing in front of a crowd.
You was at Hoddesdon, John, and Billy Joe was at Hoddesdon as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Billy Joe fought at Hoddesdon. Same coach as what I've got, Sab Leo. Yeah. To be honest with you, a few fighters been down there. There's the Crotties, who obviously Ricky Crotty went pro, won the British, and George in the GBs. Then you had Tom Little training down there for a bit. So it's been Jordan Reynolds just turned pro. So it's been home to a lot of fighters, and few good ones as well. To be honest, Kogan, yeah, a few good ones.
Matchroom obviously hold, or both, shall I say, two of the best super middleweights there are in the world, in Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. So, as kind of role models within your stable, you couldn't ask for more than that.
It's unbelievable, that, and especially Billy Joe, both class. I think if he gets a fight with Canelo, he's going to show his business. But Callum Smith is a bit like myself, very tall at the weight, rangy fighter, but also packs a punch and all. Do you know what I mean? He's got power, and yeah, it's brilliant to be up there with the best, isn't it?
I'll ask you this. I was talking probably before this lockdown situation with Dennis McCann about travellers turning professional, how few they are that actually kind of make it to the top level, considering how many travellers there are that fight amateur and have it in their life day-to-day boxing. But why, in your opinion, do only a select few amount of travellers crack it to kind of that top level?
Do you know what it is, Kogan? In the amateurs, the travelling boys, they take over the division. You've been to shows yourself and you've seen it. And from the age of 11, schoolboys, they're winning titles up to about 15, 16. Then it gets the pressure of you're driving. You're getting near enough to driving. You've got to pay for your insurances. You've got bills to pay. It's you get into that first set of age when you're paying for your bills. So then you can't just live off your dad as such and going to work with your dad one day a week. You've got to get yourself a proper bit of graft. And that is half the time, I believe, why travelling boys don't follow it up, because it's boxing's a hard sport to make money off if you've not got the right publicity or not doing it right or not done it long enough. So I think the whole reason of the boys, they get sick of it. They need to go earn their money. They've got girlfriends. They're doing their thing like that, getting married young. You've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders and you've got to provide for your family. And that is half of it. And that is the main reason why people do.
Well, I asked Dennis McCann the same question. He replied with the simple answer of women and drink. That was it.
To be honest with you, though, that's the other way of looking at it, isn't it? The boys, yeah. But there's loads of boys, isn't there? There's loads out there. Half of them complete, just go to the party life, mature for your age. You know what I mean? Getting in clubs since 15, and you switch off from your boxing. But the other half, I know a load who are just settling down at age 16, sorted. You know what I mean? They're ready to move on, have children, whatever else.
There's a lot of people that have told me over the years that growing up between Billy Joe and his brother Tommy, that Tommy was always the one that was tipped to do things ahead of Billy Joe. And some people, and I'm not going to, I can't actually remember specifically who was telling me, but there have been people over the years that said that Tommy, his brother, was the better fighter. My brother was boxing the same time as Tom. And he reckons he was unbelievable as an amateur. What that boy couldn't do, he could do everything, my brother said. And
He was a nice boy with it as not like an all, to be honest with you. And I think Billy Joe was just he was the younger boy. He was coming up with Tom. Always looked up to him, but that's the way it goes, isn't it, Cool? It's just the way that's boxing for you, isn't it? You get the right opportunities and you take them. That's what you make out of it.
Absolutely. Sam, before I even forget about this, I've just seen someone's made a diss track about you.
Oh, mate, let's not talk about that fucking human hemorrhoid while we're talking about a proper fighter here. Let's not.
No, it just coming to me head. It was coming to me head because I just played it on Instagram now, and it was take it as a compliment, Sam.
Mate, what an inflatable knob that guy is. Anyway, carry on. Flipping heck. Jesus, mate, honestly, I can't wait to just punch one of them chins right off his head. I really can't. But anyway, John, get back onto John. Jesus.
Sorry, just went way off track there.
Jesus,
John, it's probably difficult to answer this, but in an ideal world for you, how many fights would you like to have this year in an ideal world? But we're not living right now in an ideal world, so.
In an ideal world, it'd be lovely to have what we're in now. We're in June now. I need a little while to get fit. But say I was back in the gym now and I was sparring properly, and everything was going right, and my camp had already started and that 3 to 4. I think that's sensible. But with what's going on, listen, I think with what's going on, I've already said before I box, I want to have proper sparring, have a proper camp. You don't want to rush things just to get out, do you, go? So I don't want to just say, oh yeah, because there's a show, I want to jump on that one. I want to be ready and I want to put on the best performance. So when people do see me, I'm not just this big old hype job. Do you know what I mean?
If there's a boxer out there that you could slightly compare your style with, who would it be?
Currently, I don't know really. But if I had to say, just had been is Andy Lee. I think the way Andy Lee fought is it's always been exactly how I base my style. My jab hand floats a bit out, and as they come in, I'm always snappy with it. A young Andy Lee, see when he was like, especially his amateur days, you see some of his footage, it was, a lot of people said it to me, it's just what people have said, and obviously like a young Tommy Earns and things like that, that's the ones I've been compared to. But at the moment, I suppose you got to say Callum Smith, because he's super middleweight, big and rangy, isn't he?
I was going to ask, can you punch like Andy Lee?
I'd like to think so. Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd have in the amateurs. I said it from the start. I didn't have loads of stoppages, but every fight I won, I laid a count of 8. It was always it was only 3 rounds. You know what I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get him out there. But in the championships, 5 fights this year. Every fight I had, every fight I won was a count of 8 in them. So it was good.
Question for you, really, Sam. How much competition was there to get this man's signature?
I wouldn't say competition, because I think it was kind of a mutual thing with John. I think we were the first meeting he had, to be honest. I think he had a lot of people interested, but he met us and we got a deal done. I promised him a few things, and I've delivered. So it's down to John now. I mean, for example, we've had a conversation today. We've got him a really good commercial deal today, which we can announce next week, which is going to be really, really beneficial and good for his career. But it's I'm really excited by him, Coogan. I really am. You can see he holds himself really well. He talks really well, and the most important thing, he can really, really fight as well, and exciting with it as well. So I can't wait to get going with him.
We'll look forward to it. All right. Well, John, Sam, have you got anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
Go on, Sam, take it away.
Leave the last word with you. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it's too right. Yeah, too right. Legend.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah, rest in peace.
No problem. John Hedges, Sam Jones, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Best of luck in your journey as a professional with Matchroom, John, and I'm sure we'll be interviewing you in many months and years to come.
Thank you very much, Coop. Thank you. Appreciate that, mate.